My name is Oshifes Larry. I'm a mechanic. Welcome to Exxon F1, also known as from Lawon, Colum, Africa.
Good day! Please, like I've always clamored, please. I know you love what you're doing. Subscribe to my channel. Love it. I beg, like be on my channel. You get the best news. I love you guys. Like, comment, share. Some of you come to my inbox, my DM to comment. Yeah, it's good, but sometimes also comment on this social media. It helps my growth. Like, share. Share, please. It's very important you share. I love you guys. This is the Qatar Grand Prix, and before the restart, like we discussed yesterday, the issue of the curbs, I think this will make FIA go deep into looking into this curbs issue, because it's not only in Losail, it's not only in Austria, there's some other tracks that these things affect them, and it's good for racing, and also the onus still comes down to Pirelli, the tire manufacturer. And like FIA said, that Mario Isola, the Pirelli Motorsport director, spoke on the curb, said it's like if you have to take a hammer with a pyramid, at the top, and you hit it against the sidewall 100 times per second, the effect of the curbs on the tires are damaging the tires. And like he said, the curbs are good. And now we are talking about the effect on a very odd track. Now, they didn't have this issue in Singapore because the curbs in Singapore were different. They are flat, but these ones are not flat. If you watch my video yesterday, you will see it, and you can also in this video, they are not flat curbs. So it gives it a different variation. It is a different vibe for the car. The way the car relates these curbs is like it cannot be replaced, and this repeated hitting on the sidewalls impact the tire compounds. And FIA has given a verdict on how the race should go, but I think the race should be up in the next 3 hours. I think only few drivers will be able to manage the 3 pit stops, because some drivers will go for 4. Now we are talking about hard medium tires, and from the test we had yesterday, that's the sprint race, I'm not sure those medium tires would do the 19 laps they did. Most of those medium tires survived because they were under safety car for like 10 laps. Imagine the soft tires that only did like 9 full laps, and around lap 8, about lap 7 of the tire lap, George Russell and other drivers using the soft tires are already saying that tire is gone. So you tell me the medium tires will now do 18 laps or 19 laps? I doubt it. Less the hard tires. I'm not seeing those tires doing such laps. Sincerely, this is the reality. It's going to give us a recipe for a very, very good race. A very, very interesting race, because a lot of drivers will take risk, and I can see George trying to take much risk that might backfire on him because of inexperience. I was chatting with a fan this morning, and I was talking about the tires, and I was saying, I'm sure some inexperienced drivers that are like few years in Formula 1 are not listening or reading the signs on the older or experienced drivers, because they've not really raced with experienced drivers before. For teams like McLaren, they know the way, except they want to play with it. It's going to backfire on them. Max Verstappen has nothing to lose. He's won the championship. He's won everything. So he can take a lot of pleasure in changing tires 10 times. Certainly. And he has a fast car, and he still wins the race. Now, let me also tell you, the medium tires and their tires will behave almost the same way. The difference will be their tires might just last 5 laps longer than the medium tires. They will have the same behavior, the same eating behavior, the same waking up, the same drive, but the difference would be one can pick up faster. The medium will pick up faster than the hard tires. Now, if that happens, which team will use the medium tires and their tires? If any of the top 10 teams comes with the soft tire, take it or leave it, except they are going for 5 stops. That is when they can come back into top 10. But I don't see anybody starting with soft tires possibly thinking of winning the race, because that soft tire, if that tire does not tear, that person will do first 8 laps, change tires. If that driver can last 8 laps, I doubt it. It's going to be very, very technical. Now, FIA had mandated that a maximum limit of 18 laps for new tires in Qatar. So remember, some of them have brushed their tires, used their tires for 1 or 2 laps before the race. That is, some of them have used some of their tires during qualifying and during practice earlier on Friday. So some of those tires will be brought in, which means some of those tires will not do that 18 laps. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race, a very, very technical race. And like FIA is saying, they are going to enforce to make sure there are 3 pit stops. They are enforcing that. But how are the teams and the drivers going to take the strategy to gain advantage or to win the race? It's down to strategy now. 3 hours to the race. Let's go. What an intense race. Arguably, this is the most intense race of the season, the most hectic race of the season, the most suffering race of the season. What a race. At first, let me start with this. There will be a lot of arguments, and there have been a lot of arguments. Mercedes messed up their own race. I've been saying it since yesterday that Mercedes Mercedes had a chance of podium and they have a chance of winning. And at the end of the day, they messed up their own race. I think it all started with Toto not being there. 2, inadequate planning for the race. I have seen Mercedes Ferrari planned a better getaway on first turning that had worked for them. But this is shambolic. And number 3, I'll put mostly the blame on Lewis Hamilton. He has owned up to it. As a mature driver, he should have been able to see how they would both work it out to make sure they had a good race. And also, while turning in, that track is so narrow, and also him running close to George Russell was a result of him trying to dodge the dirtier side of the track, because going towards that dirty side, he will go towards the track limit and that will push him off the track. And also, we said that George Russell should have given him space. No, there's no place for George Russell to take his car to. And I think Lewis saw that late. There was nothing he could do. I think if Lewis had been able to jump Max Verstappen in turn 1, giving him a gap of like 2-3 seconds, they would have been able to sandwich Max Verstappen to give them an advantage in the race. And it could have been one of the Mercedes winning the race. One would have raced in third. But at the end of the day, both of them just buckled their race and then went for it and destroyed the race. But George Russell was able to come back with some points. But look at the decent points they could have come home with. George Russell could have been back leading Lando Norris, while Lewis Hamilton could have caught up with Sergio Perez. A whole catching up with Sergio Perez, and it would have just been like 15 points behind Sergio Perez. Now he's 30 points behind Sergio Perez. And I think Mercedes will look at this and know that they really messed their own race up, because this is dramatic. And if this continues, next year they would have a big and a chunk of issues to handle. It might be the same thing that happened between Lewis and Nico Rosberg all through. And I think Mercedes need to sort it out. Now, looking at the race also, let me expatiate a little. If you look at a race like this, you would understand that when Lewis and Nico Rosberg were racing, they were just 2 alpha drivers. So nobody is going to give way for another person. They would rather run into each other. And that, I would praise Red Bull a little for that, but I would also condemn them a little. Max and Checo Perez are 2 alpha male drivers, and they are very tough, but they are able to bring Perez down. When I think he was not agreeing to come to their level, I think he had to go through what he had gone through this year just to make sure Max Verstappen wins his 3rd championship. And let me also use this advantage and this opportunity to give a big warning to Red Bull. If they think pairing Lando Norris and Max Verstappen will work for them, I think they should just erase it, because Lando Norris is another alpha driver that will just make sure if he wants to go to Red Bull, it has to be that he wants to win and he wants to have equal machinery, not feel like he's being cheated, and he wants to race. So they should know that at the back of their mind. If they think of signing Lando Norris in 2025 ahead of 2026 season, it's going to be fireworks. And if Mercedes are not careful with this, it's going to be fireworks for them, and that might ruin their chances of victory next year. Even if they have a very good car, it might ruin their chances of victory next year. And looking at it, I'll say sorry to Mercedes, but great move for McLaren, coming from 6th and 10 to come 2nd and 3rd on the grid. What a great drive from them. It's a very good recovery drive for them. Even Oscar Piastri had to thank the Mercedes for clearing the way for them, because Oscar Piastri, coming from 6th on the grid, had Alonso and Leclerc ahead of him, and because of the accident, both of them were just cleared the way easily for him, and he moved from 6th right into 2nd place to complete the race. And that was how easy the race was for him. So what happened during the race? Without Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, their case have sorted out. It was Lewis's mistake, Lewis's fault, Lewis's not being able to lead the team when Toto Wolff is not around. I think if they had had a plan, they've sat down both of them under Lewis's guidance. George knew he was using the soft tire, and George knew Lewis Hamilton would be faster, right? They could have had a plan, like where the odd numbers are on the dirty side. That was why the first thing Max did was to move to cover George Russell. He covered him, slowed down to make sure he slowed him down, knowing Lewis Hamilton would want to cut him into the corner. He was hoping if Lewis Hamilton come on the outside, he would just run into the free here. Coming back, Max Verstappen would have still been ahead, but that is that. So I won't say much about that. Carlos Sainz was unable to start the race. He had a fuel system leak problem. Also, Sergio Perez started from the pit lane, owing to the accident he had yesterday alongside Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg. So with the 100 kg of fuel, different tire strategy, Max Verstappen led from start and was able to finish the race. Now, like I told you, the FIA gave mandatory 3 pit stops in this race, in which everybody adhered to. Only George Russell made 4 pit stops. helps because immediately after he tangled with his teammate Lewis Hamilton, he had some damage, but he had to change his tire. But looking at the pace of the Mercedes today, I think they had a good pace for the race. They could have easily won the race. They had a pace for the race. They could have given Max Verstappen a run for his money. But the two teammates entanglement gave them a wonderful way of ending Lewis Hamilton's race, and that's the first time he's losing point this season, and Max Verstappen remains the only driver to have 1 point in all the races this season. Now that guy has broken records. He has won his 14th race this season, led 90% of the laps this season, won 80-something percent, about 82% of the races this season, won 90% of the fastest lap this season. God, he has just broken a lot of records this season. Congratulations to him again. Track limits were important, like I said, and track limits decided a lot of things today. It was a sold out attendance of 120,000 fans attended the Grand Prix in Qatar. That's why I keep saying we need to have a community in Nigeria and in West Africa to make sure we have something good to hold down to. So if there is a race we are bringing Formula E or Formula 1, we can have a lot of people attending the race. So it's a straight pointed race. The McLaren coming second. Alonso will have to see the stewards after the race because of the way he got back to the race after his mistake in turn 6 ahead of Charles Leclerc. But some beautiful points of the race. Perez 3 times 5-second penalty for exceeding track limit. Nico Hülkenberg 10 seconds for improper placement of his car on the grid to start the race. Logan Sargent had to retire lap 40 because he was unable to continue in the race. The heat, the exhaustion was just too much. He was unable to continue. He had to pull out of the race. He really struggled all through the race. That was an intense race, like I said. Lance Stroll twice given 5 seconds penalty. Pierre Gasly twice given 5-second penalty. Alex Albon twice given 5-second penalty. Track limit was a very big issue, and we don't know yet. In next 1 hour time, we should know if more drivers are given time-second penalty. We should do that. But another wonderful win. Nothing much in the race. It was still like a lonely race for Max Verstappen. Not really any challenge all through the race, and I think that is that for another race. It was just an intense race. No action. The actions were merely behind and nothing much. And George Russell recovered from 18 to come fourth in the race for comfort. But now he's having Lando Norris quite ahead of him. He has a lot of catching up to do. And I think Mercedes, sincerely, they need to sit down and look at where they are going to this season. Because if they are chasing second with all these accidents, I think they need to have a redress. They need to have a redress. And if George Russell needs to chase fourth, fourth he can chase. He needs to be very careful in racing, and he needs to get himself in the right frame of mind. The Mercedes needs to sit down to talk to their drivers, and they need to also have a good plan that will help them in races. That's it for today. We have some more videos coming in. And quick one before I end it today. Don't forget my own boy, Philip Janos. We need to help him. We need to see how we can raise some funds for him to keep racing, to keep karting. He needs all of us. We need him, and we need to put Nigerian flag in the forefront of karting and F1 racing possibly. I love you all, guys. So please come up, support him. His email is always there. His Instagram ID is also here. Let's see how we can support him. I think F1 and a lot of pundits also need to be very careful about the way they spring news and they make posts about what happened during the race, because it can also bring depression. It can bring issues between drivers. During the race, these drivers are under pressure, under severe pressure, so they can say so many things like what George Russell said during the race, like 2 races in a row. No. If F1 and other pundits or other stations are bringing that out, I think it is wrong, because after the race, when these drivers or the team are meant to mend things up and they are seeing these things, or their friends are telling them, or they are seeing it online, I think it affects their mental health and the way they react to things. I think F1 needs to do a lot of job because they are leaders. They are losing fans. I think F1 needs to do a good job in the commentary and also in the way they handle their posts, so that it won't make the sport lose a lot of fans, especially on social media. Okay, we love you. Subscribe, like, share, comment. I love you. Bye. Cheers.
Gibor gives you power. Gibor gives you control. Gibor gives you benefits. Are you an individual or business that uses fuel or gas? Use Gibor to find the best prices across all retail outlets in your city. For users and businesses that buy volumes, Gibor gives you access to credit. Gibor also gives you the ability to track your costs and monitor expenses per car or fleet. Need to improve your costs, enjoy incentives, or track expense? Gibor is the answer. Enjoy 5% discount on your first 5 purchases when you get your next fuel voucher from Gibor. Log on to www.gibor.co to enjoy this. Retail outlets wanted nationwide.
I have a new friend in the house. We are in Nigeria here, West Africa. He provides internet for us. They provide the best internet around the mainland, and I know they are still moving to the highland and they are moving all around Nigeria. But for you to get internet on the mainland, contact Fibrad Telecom Limited. They get you sorted out ASAP. The best cable internet on the mainland, fiber, I think they get sorted out. We talk much about them in the course of some of our videos, but contact them, they get sorted out. If you're a builder, if you're an art collector, if you have a showroom, Rated is the best place to get the artworks you need for your new buildings, for your art collections, for your showroom, for your exhibition. Rated Art have one of the best murals, mosaic works, and different art patterns in Nigeria presently. And it's somebody that you can communicate with, talks to you, you tell him what you want, and he will bring the reality out for you. Contact Rated Art. His number is right up here. And you can also go on social media links that are pasted right up here. So check out some of his works. Thank you. Teams Gadget. Teams Gadget is for those of you that cannot easily go to the market to get your phones, your laptops, your accessories. Just place a call through. His phone number is there. It gets you the best. It's your shop plug to get you the best phones, accessories, laptops, games, and other accessories for your computer gaming experience. Contact Teams Gadget and you get them for you.